morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the kickoff of the Baltimore, Maryland 2026 FIFA delegation site visit. The delegation today will be touring in multiple groups across our beautiful city, checking out sites, everything from training to our world-class stadium, which they had the privilege of seeing last night live and in action. We were really excited that the outcome ended up in our favor, which means that they got to see the fan base at its best. They will also be out exploring where our future projected Fan Fest sites are throughout the day, and then they will convene back at the stadium late this afternoon for final discussions and confirmation of the details associated with the next steps of the process. The city, the states, and all of our corporate partners, thank you for your leadership. Thank you for the directions and the guidance to get us to this day. We know together, all together as one, we can win this opportunity. And as our signs say across this city, we're ready for it. Bring the World Cup to Baltimore, Maryland. It is now my pleasure to introduce the Lieutenant Governor of the state of Maryland, Mr. Boyd Rutherford.
Thank you, Terry. Good morning, everyone. We are extremely pleased to be able to showcase Maryland and Baltimore to the FIFA delegation. You know, we're working very hard to bring the beautiful game here to Baltimore, to bring the world's attention to this world-class city, our world-class state, and all the amenities that we have to offer. And as Terry had mentioned, being able to bring them to our stadium last night, to be able to see the Ravens, the victory, but also just to see the fans and to imagine what the stadium would look like in 2026 when we have the beautiful game of world football here in Baltimore. So I thank them, and we really appreciate this opportunity to showcase what we have to offer here in the city of Baltimore, in the state of Maryland. And as Terry said, we're all here working together, working at the state level, working with our friends in the city, our good friend, the mayor, and he's going to talk to you in a moment about what we're going to be doing together to make sure that we bring the World Cup here. So I want to thank FIFA for, indulging us and coming in and enjoying all that is offered. And the weather is always great in Baltimore City, so thank you.
Thank you, Lieutenant Governor. It's now my pleasure to welcome the mayor of this beautiful city, Mr. Brandon Scott.
Thank you, Terry. Good morning, everyone. We are so glad. Let me first get the good stuff out the way. If you're asking if I knew that we would get the fumble last night, the answer is heck yeah, I knew we would get the fumble last night. We were always excited to see our Ravens win. And so on behalf of myself, the Lieutenant Governor, the Maryland Sports Commission, and the people of Baltimore, we are honored to have the FIFA site delegation visit here in Charm City. It's been great to partner with my friend, the Lieutenant Governor, who I know is an avid football fan, and Terry Hasseline from the Maryland Sports Commission as partners in this effort to bring the most beautiful game and the World Cup to Baltimore in 2026. We all know Baltimore has a rich and diverse sporting culture. We are a global city. Our residents come from a wide variety of ethnic backgrounds. We are home to migrants from all over the world and continue to open our arms to refugees from Afghanistan, East and West Africa, and Central America. Football is the language that brings us all together. It, as a sport, continues to grow throughout our city. We are home to local organizations like Soccer Without Borders that use the beautiful game to help immigrants and refugees adjust to life here in our city and in America. This has helped us develop a rich, diverse footballing culture with fans and athletes from across the globe eager to see their teams play. As successful be it to host as a host city for the 2026 World Cup would have immense benefits for the citizens of Baltimore, for FIFA, and for the world of football. FIFA can have absolute confidence that we will deliver perfect World Cup matches that will provide wide-ranging community benefits on and off the pitch. We will have all the necessary funding in place, and the financial and technical requirements are guaranteed. Not only will the World Cup be a great commercial success here in Baltimore, it will provide vital benefits to our residents by providing jobs, bringing in revenue that will be reinvested into our communities for years to come. Baltimore 2026 will play a major role in the development of our city and our state, with $140 million upgrades to our already beautiful and world-class M&T Bank Stadium, upgrades to Camden Station, Rash Field, things that we know will help us continue to show the most beautiful game. As the first ever 48-team World Cup, more than 3 million fans are expected to live games across the 2026 tournament. We stand ready and invite the World Soccer family, fans, players, or administrators into our warm, welcoming city to demonstrate our outstanding mix of local hospitality, culture, great food, art, and more. We will be a home away from home for any team, and from the moment they arrive here, visitors to Baltimore, Maryland will experience a World Cup host city like no other. So to our delegation, we want to say thank you for continuing to visit here in Baltimore City. We hope you enjoyed the atmosphere at M&T Bank Stadium last night, and we again look forward to the discussions about how we can bring the biggest sporting event in the world to the great city of Baltimore. And it's my pleasure now to introduce the head of the delegation, Victor Montilani.
Thanks, Brandon. Thanks. You look like you can play still. I think you might be ready for 26 to play. Never mind, just host. Lieutenant Governor, pleasure. Terry, thank you very much. I have to say, on behalf of our delegation, it's great to be here in Baltimore today. We arrived here last night, and Terry and his team met us. We've had fantastic hospitality since we met. Obviously, us coming here helped the Ravens win last night, so I guess we can take credit for that somehow. But it was a fantastic game, and the stadium was lit up and it's great to see fans back into our stadiums, regardless of the sport. And last night was definitely a sort of a magical evening for the Ravens, and it was a great experience for us to see the stadium live and in action. You know, we're going through a process here, and we know that Baltimore has experience not only with events, but also has a team that has passion and energy. Obviously, we look forward to seeing more of the facilities and obviously the stadium later on today. But I think for us, you know, as we already know, you know, the World Cup is the biggest and greatest event in sports in the world, and I think we can. It's very evident. Even this is day 6 of our trip, and I have to say that the passion has been brought by everybody, and Baltimore has been absolutely no different from the moment where we arrived. Has been quite evident, and so we look forward to this process with Colin and our teams. Colin can speak more about the details in terms of what we're looking for, and but it's really great to be here, and thank you very much.
Good morning. It's great to be here in Baltimore, finally in person. I'd like to thank the Lieutenant Governor, the Mayor, and Terry, and the whole Baltimore team who have been working with us over the last couple of years. Obviously, we planned to be here before now, but had to put that back for obvious reasons. But we've been working remotely through workshops and many online meetings and back and forth correspondence. So we really do thank the Baltimore team for all their engagement and their enthusiasm throughout this process. So here we are. It's great to be here. What better way to start the tour than the match last night, especially with the result going the way it did. So congratulations to the Ravens for that. What we look at when we're here, we'll get a presentation from the city, and then we'll visit the stadium in more detail. We obviously saw it in its full flow last night, but we need to spend a bit of time looking behind the scenes, especially around the pitch area. The pitch for us is sacrosanct. We have the best players in the world playing the best football in the world, and so they deserve the best pitches in the world. And that's really the heartbeat of what we look at when we go to a stadium. We also look at all the other areas that the teams need in order to perform, be it their accommodation, be it their training sites. And then we look at all our other key stakeholders who are part and parcel of a successful World Cup. Obviously the fans. What areas can we bring to them in and around the city and around the stadium? Transport links, accommodation, airport obviously is a key factor of that. And just how we bring the whole city and all the different agencies involved in putting on major events, how they work together. And Baltimore certainly has experience of doing that. So happy to answer any questions, but great to be here. Thank you.
Well, I think, it's not the first time I've been asked that question, so I'll be happy to answer it. No, it's not so much what sets you apart. It's sort of, I think it's important for a city to be what you are. Baltimore has a spirit. We already know that. And it was evident last night in the game as well. And walking through the Ravens walk, you can definitely feel it. And I think you just got to be what you are. I mean, it's just like our sport of football, right? You have an identity, what your team is, and you think you have to play that way. And if you don't play that way, you end up losing. And so I think it's important for any candidate city, and Baltimore be no different. You are what you are, and you have to present yourself. Obviously, Colin and our teams will look at all the due diligence and, look underneath everything and above everything. And so we'll do an assessment. But I think at the end of the day, you just have to be what you are and then put your best foot forward and let the process follow.
Well, as the mayor had mentioned, the state has been putting money into M&T Stadium, and we expect that there'll be some more. There's some upgrades that are going to need to be made to make sure the pitch is right. It needs to be, in American football, there's a crown versus in international football, it's a flat surface, so we have some work to do there. We'll make sure that that gets done. There may be some seating changes, some other investment. We're going to make sure that transit is available. One of the benefits of where we're located here with the stadium is we have a rail line right there. We'll make sure that the transit is, up to the best standards possible to make sure we can get people in and out of the city and in and out of the stadium. So from that standpoint, we'll be ready and we'll do all that is needed to be done with our friends here in the city to get that done. And from an economic impact, you're going to be bringing thousands of people into the city, occupying our hotels, going to our restaurants, utilizing transportation services. There's going to be a significant impact, and I know the mayor can talk more in terms of employment and things of that nature.
Yeah, thank you for the question, Dan. And I think it's you again, like I said earlier, the potential economic impact for cities hosting matches is an estimated $480 million. That's a big deal. And as the Lieutenant Governor said, we have to do $140 million of upgrades to M&T Bank. 7.2 million into Camden Station and 16.8 into Rash Field. And when you think about an event of this size, right, the biggest sporting event in the world, you're talking about thousands of jobs for Baltimoreans to work on something. This will be game changing for our city because it creates the opportunity for the world to see us as we are. Right, as a city that's gritty, that comes back, that's tough, that fights tooth and nail to come out on the other side, as we have done through the creation of the Star Spangled Banner and every other time Baltimore's been counted out.
Time for one more question.
Thank you. Yes, we are. So we've got 3 more cities on this trip. Then we do 8 or 9 in October, and then we close out the last 8 or 9 in November. So we'll wrap up our review, if you like, the evaluation, the visits by the end of this year. And then we'd hope to make the final selection beginning of next year, so Q1, Q2 next year.
Well, thank you, everybody. That concludes the press conference for today. The delegation will be boarding their bus, and our other delegates will be going out into the community and seeing all those tremendous assets. So thank you, everybody, for attending today, and let's go Baltimore.